Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for the full moon that's occurring on October 6th or October 7th, 2025, depending on where you live in the world. So before we get into that forecast, this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. I'd love to work with you. My information's in the description box below. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Life path number 1, you are going to be working with the vibrations of the 8 and the 9 for this illumination. And so you could really see a lot coming in around your career or around how you make money, how you spend money, your relationship to money. Also, like how you contribute your gifts in the world. So if you're someone who's not currently working or you don't need to work, this would be an opportunity to take a closer look at, again, how you still share your gifts with the world, how you contribute in some way. And that can be through volunteer work or philanthropy or however that speaks to you. But not only are you going to be looking at your work, how you share your gifts, your relationship to money, your relationship to success as well, what that means to you, what your goals look like, possibly coming back to your why, understanding that why, what's your motivation, what's pushing you. There's a spiritual level to this because you have the vibration of the 9 here. And so this is an opportunity to take a really deep dive into how you spend the majority of your time, especially, again, as it relates to work, or again, how you contribute, how you share your gifts, and how you feel about that. Like, what does that look like? This can also be something where, again, because of this 9 vibration, where you're opening up to some of your greater gifts. You could see some major inspiration coming around this time, some new ideas, some new perspectives that can drive you forward, possibly in a way that you weren't expecting or in a way that you haven't moved before. So again, this might be a new opportunity to volunteer or to share your wealth and abundance and success. This might be an opportunity to step into a new role, and that might look very different than what you're used to, but it will likely be much more aligned for you than what you've been doing in the past. For some of you, this might just be, again, sort of having an epiphany or an aha moment that really opens you up to something bigger or greater when it comes to your purpose and how you sort of step into and move in that purpose. And of course, our purpose, we step into that every day. It continues to evolve as we evolve. And so there's just an opportunity to kind of go deeper and to have a deeper connection with, again, how you make money or how you spend your money or how you share your gifts and what that looks like for you. So there's a really strong emphasis here. The other side of this is there could be an opportunity, again, for you to share that wealth. Such a big energy of the 8, or a big component of the 8, is about how you share that success or that wealth with others. It's not about what you achieve. It's about how you uplift, empower, inspire, and share that gift or those gifts with others. So lots of opportunities here for stepping into a purpose greater than self, but that has a lot to do with your personal vision and sort of your place in the world. So really, really powerful energy here, especially for ones. So you might be called to step into something that really helps you to share your vision. Remember, you're the trailblazer. So this could be something that really pushes you outside your comfort zone, but it's going to be something that probably excites you, that you feel very aligned with. So it could be a new offering. It could be, again, a new job, maybe you inherit some money. And then the question becomes, what are you going to do with that? And how are you going to utilize that resource, that abundance that has come in for you now? And with the 8 and the 9 together, it's asking you to think about more than just self here. So really beautiful energy. I hope it's a great one. Take care, ones. Bye for now. Life path number 2. So you're going to be working with the vibration of the 9 and the 1 for this illumination. So the spotlight is being put on you. There's something here with your identity, with your place in the world, how you show up, how you see yourself, how you express yourself, how you move towards what it is that you want, right? How you assert yourself. Your ambitions, your motivations are all kind of coming into the spotlight here with this full moon. And you're being asked to really dive deeper into, again, asking yourself the bigger questions, like, what is it that I want right now in my life? What is it that I want to achieve? What are some goals that I want to sort of move towards? How is it that I present myself? How is it that I speak up for myself and use my voice? Do I feel good with that? Are there things that keep me from speaking up or speaking out? And what are those? And how can I overcome those, right? Where is it that I have a hard time making decisions and sticking to those decisions and not second guessing myself or being easily influenced by the external? This is a really good opportunity to sort of come back to yourself and check in with yourself to see where is it that you don't feel aligned with or necessarily good about how you're showing up in the world or how you're presenting yourself, or maybe even how other people see you. And so there might be some adjustments or some modifications that need to be made. Not that you have to change who you are, but you need to possibly change how you are presenting yourself, right? And so again, this is pushing you into greater autonomy, is pushing you into a greater leadership role within your own life. It's really pushing you to connect more to your own personal intuition, your own personal North Star when it comes to making important decisions in your life and then taking the action in order to get there. There could be some shifts and some endings and some potential loss around this full moon, but if it falls away, it needs to fall away in order to open you up to the next chapter, right? In order to allow you to take the steps necessary to move in the direction of your soul, in the direction that feels most aligned for you. So this is a really beautiful vibration for the twos to work with, because a lot of twos often struggle with, again, being decisive, making those decisions, feeling sound and confident in their choices when it comes to important areas of their life. A lot of twos have to move with and sort of grapple with being easily influenced by the external. So this is a time for you to really reclaim your power, to claim your space and to own that space and to find your voice and to use it. This is about taking initiative, putting in the effort. There's no complacency here. There's not a lot of room for complacency here. This is about, again, figuring out what it is that you want and then taking the steps in that direction to help you to get there, and doing so with confidence. So again, you could see some things fall away now because of this 9 cycle, but don't get caught up in that. Like, feel what you need to feel, right? Whatever is released, but don't get stuck there. This is a time for you to figure out, okay, well, that didn't work, whatever that is. So what's next? What's my next option? What do I want? What direction do I need to move in? So there's a lot here about independence, autonomy, taking charge, being the leader within your own life and taking action. So if you've been procrastinating, this is a time to get started and to put your best foot forward and to make the decisions, find your confidence and the faith in yourself to make the decisions necessary in order to move you forward, especially if you felt stuck in some area of life. So really, really powerful energy here that I think can show you a lot about yourself, what you're capable of, what it is that you want, and open some doors for you in order to achieve that. So really powerful energy here. It doesn't happen without you, though. You're the one that has to put in the effort and show up. So take advantage of it. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 3. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 1 and the 2 for this illumination. And again, this is a full moon, so we could be looking at some kind of ending or closure, or things coming to culmination, or some kind of things coming to fruition to some degree. But for you all, it's an interesting dynamic here because you're working with the 1 energy. So this is about you. This is about your place in the world, how you speak up for yourself, how you advocate for yourself, how you present yourself, how much space you're taking up, and do you need to take up more space? Finding your confidence and your courage to, again, own your space and speak up for yourself and to be your best advocate. And to figure out, again, ask yourself those bigger questions. What is it that I want? Do I feel good, where I'm at in various areas of my life? Where is it that I need to take greater charge of these areas of my life, make greater decisions that support me and what it is that I want, and to be able to move in that direction and to take the actions to help you move in that direction. But you're also working on the vibration of the 2. So this brings in relationships and relating to others and, finding common ground and working with others, compromise, finding a greater understanding about what everyone in the situation needs in order to find success within that experience. So there can be sort of, again, this opportunity to reflect upon how you show up to your connections, how others show up to your connections. What feels good, what doesn't feel good, what needs to be addressed, where is it that maybe you need to release control a little bit and let things flow and sort of organically unfold. Where is it that those conversations need to be had to make sure that everyone is getting what they need within that dynamic, including you. And so conversation is really going to be sort of at the forefront around this full moon, I think, for you all. And first of all, with yourself, again, making sure that you're checking in with yourself and that you have what you need. And if you don't, what do you need to do in order to, achieve that? But then also to have those conversations with those that you either work with or you're in relationships with or connections with to make sure that, again, everyone sort of has what they need. So compromise is big here, coming together. Healing is also really at the forefront here. So healing anything where there's been some kind of disconnect. This 2 energy is giving you an opportunity to reconnect in some way, to build that bridge, to come together, to see eye to eye. There's a lot of healing energy here. But the bigger message is to not sort of neglect your own needs, right? Especially if you're someone who's like an overgiver or you show up in the way that other people need you to show up, or you're overly accommodating for others. This is an opportunity to take a closer look at that and see where it is that you need to, again, speak up for yourself more, be your better advocate, figure out what it is that you want in your relationships, in your work, in your whatever. And then figure out what steps you need to take to move in that direction. But also, you're not meant to do it alone. Like this 2 energy here is saying there's support here for you. There are people who can help you, right? Where you have limitations, other people will have strengths and they can help you. So it's about asking for what you need as well. If you need that support, this is a beautiful time to ask for it. You'll likely receive it. But the biggest message here, I think, is when it comes to your relationships, just make sure you're not losing yourself within those connections in order to accommodate the other person or make the other person feel comfortable. Make sure that you are taking up just as much space as the other person. So a lot here, but a lot of beautiful energy. And I think that it can really strengthen your connections or take them to the next level if you're willing to kind of do that work. But there's also that piece of coming back to yourself to make sure that your needs are also being met. So beautiful energy here, 3s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 4. So you're going to be working with the vibration of the 2 and the 3 for this illumination. So relationships are at the forefront here, and so is communication and having the conversation. So anytime we're moving through a 2 cycle, it's having us look at where is the disconnect? Where are things not working so that we can find the solution, so that we can work together to come up with, some kind of compromise, some kind of common ground that will help us to build that bridge instead of burning it down. And with the 3 energy here, it's saying, we can only really do that. We can only really work really well with others when we're having the conversation, when there's communication. And so this is an opportunity to look at where there might be some communication breakdown within your relationships. And because it's a 2 energy, it's the art of relating, right? So it's anyone that, you are connecting with. Where is it that there needs to be a greater conversation to seek that understanding in order to work together more harmoniously? There can be a lot of healing that takes place under this full moon between you and another person or you and a group of people where maybe there's been some miscommunication or there's been a breakdown of that communication. And also, with 4s, we are very solution focused. We are very driven. It's a very ambitious energy. And a lot of times it can be a stubborn energy where, again, very independent type of energy. And so it's not that we can't work well with others. It's just we are very driven and usually very independent. And so when we work with this, through a cycle of 2 and 3, it's pushing us to work with others. It's pushing us to recognize our limitations, communicate those limitations, and find people to work with who have strengths where we have those limitations so that we can work smarter, not harder. So this energy could be asking you to be a little bit vulnerable. And again, to recognize those limitations, to express your needs, and to be open to other people's perspectives, other people's experience, other people's wisdom in order to work smarter, not harder. So you might be asked during this time to do things differently and to try something new, to think outside of the box, to see things from a bigger perspective that's not your own. And the more that you can do that and sort of lean into it and trust other people and their solutions, again, it can really help you to move forward and to get unstuck in some area that you might be feeling really stuck in. So I encourage you to, if you get the social invite, say yes. This is a great time to mingle, to connect, to collaborate, to share ideas, but also, again, for you to recognize that, what it is that you need in order to assist you in achieving your goals. And then ask for that assistance and be open to receiving it and not trying to control what the other person is doing, right? Trusting them to do what they came here to do. But really beautiful energy for sort of mending or healing connections, seeing eye to eye, finding common ground, compromise, right? Not being overly stubborn, having to have it your way, but compromising and, making sure that everyone has what they need and everyone's sort of thriving in that environment in order, again, to work smarter, not harder. So very social energy around this full moon, a beautiful time to collaborate and connect with others and share ideas and possibly even take a creative project to the next level, but with another person. This is not an independent ride. So I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 5. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 3 and the 4. So the 4 here says that this is foundational. This is something where you're either, you've been working on something because, again, the 3 energy brings in that creativity, that creative life force. There's something potentially that you've been working on that you are now bringing to completion, right? This is a full moon, so that's very possible. But it feels really solid, like it feels ready. So if you're looking to launch something, beautiful time to do that. But you're feeling really confident in whatever this is. And so for some of you who maybe you've been, training or going to school for something, it's like with this 3 and this 4 cycle, especially at a full moon in the sign of Aries, this is saying you're ready. You're ready to put it out into the world. You're ready to hang the open sign on your door, if you know what I mean, right? Like, don't second guess yourself. Don't wait until you feel ready, because we never feel ready, right? Well, usually we don't. This is a time to recognize where you're ready to say yes and to open your doors or share that expertise or whatever it might be, or that greater project, etc. Also could be like some kind of speaking engagement, something where you're sharing a greater message through, like you're sharing your wisdom or something like that, right? But it just feels very solid and feels very like you feel very grounded. So that's very possible. Also, it could be that you are starting some kind of creative project at this time that is very foundational for your work. So you could be going back to school at this time, or you could be building something where you're kind of at the beginning stages and you have to really pay attention to the details and take your time as you move through it. But whatever it is that you're building at this time has the potential to bring you that sense of security, that sense of structure and likely success, but it will take time, right? Because you're working with that 4 energy. So patience is key. Taking your time and being methodical is key. But also expressing yourself in a way that feels true and authentic for you. This 3 and the 4 together is all about authenticity and sort of releasing, right? Whatever is not doesn't feel true for you. So that can be people that are kind of holding you back or whatever, or ideas that aren't working or don't gel. This could be a great time to release that. The other thing I would say is when it comes to how you communicate, how you share your ideas, how you connect with others can feel a lot more grounded at this time. So you can get a lot further with having the conversation, asking the questions, and again, sort of being open to the answers that come forth. There's also this energy of following your intuition, following that inner guidance when it comes to your creative projects, again, sharing a greater message, putting your work out into the world, following your intuition and that inner guidance, and not being easily deterred or swayed by the external noise. I would say move in the direction of your greater cheerleaders, the people who want to see you be successful now, and don't listen to the naysayers or the ones who are trying to hold you back. You don't have the time or energy for that. You just want to focus on the ones who are going to help you to achieve the goals that you're putting your mind to achieve. Really beautiful energy here, especially for fives. This can really help you get focused, grounded, and to commit to and achieve some of those greater goals that you have, especially when it comes to communication, creativity, or getting your greater message out into the world. So love this for you all. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 6, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 4 and the 5. This is interesting. When these two energies come together in a cycle, it can feel a little bit like push-pull, but it can also feel really like things are being balanced out, right? Because the 4 energy is really slow moving. It's very methodical, systematic. It's very organized. It's very committed. It's, wants to follow through with things, to see it through to completion. It's a very solution-focused energy. And so there's some area here that's asking you to get focused, get serious, get dedicated, right? To commit to something to see it through to completion. And that it will take time and patience in order to fulfill. But then there's also this energy of the 5, which is the complete opposite, right? It's a very big, fast-moving energy that it can be disruptive and that really wants to shake things up and get us out of our rut, right? So that we can start to really, truly experience life with all of our senses, say yes, take risks, go all in, that sort of thing. And so it can lead to sort of going in excess, right? And so it's an interesting combination to have, and it can feel a little bit like push-pull, but what I mean by it can bring in the balance is that it can help us to sort of get focused in the areas and stop procrastinating in the areas that we need to in order to break free from the things that are holding us back, right? So when the 5 energy comes in, it's asking us to look at where is it that either we've got some kind of self-imposed prison or, we are just being really held back. Where do we need to break free? Where do we need to let our hair down and just throw caution to the wind, take the risk, say yes, go all in, that sort of thing? And that's what this 5 energy is really asking you to do here. And with it coupled with the 4, it's asking you to be discerning, right? To be calculated with that risk, to not just throw the baby out with the bathwater, but to have a plan and a strategy type thing, to be grounded in that freedom, so to speak, so that you are not completely uprooting or disrupting your life through this cycle. But it's also asking you to release control a bit and to think outside the box, to try something unconventional. The 5 is saying, let's do something unconventional here. Let's think outside the box. Let's think bigger. Because the 5 is all about evolution and growth. And the 4 says, yeah, we can have that, but we have to build it and we have to take our time and we have to be methodical. So there's some area of your life that is asking you to break free, to be more progressive, to expand and evolve and to grow. And the 4 is saying, let's do that, but let's do it the right way in a methodical, organized fashion, right? So there's some area of your life that is really asking you to open up, right? And to be free and to, again, try something new, take the risk, but let it be a calculated risk. Like have a have a system in place, have a strategy for how you're going to do it. So if you're looking to open a new business or something like that, this energy would say, go for it. But again, have a strategy, have a plan, keep your head on your shoulders, like think big, go big, right? That's that 5 energy. But have a plan, have a system, make sure that your ducks are in a row before you take that big risk. So it's a beautiful energy, and it's really when they can work together, it can open us up to so many opportunities and so much growth and expansion in our own lives that we just never even thought we were capable of or that was possible. So beautiful energy here around this full moon for you all. I would say if the opportunity comes in to take a risk, go for it. But again, make sure you have a plan, a strategy, so that you're not just sort of throwing caution to the wind and being fully sort of out of the loop, if that makes sense. Beautiful energy here. Definitely you're going to have to be adaptable. Likely there will be some change that comes in, but because of that 4 energy, it's saying it's going to be grounded. You're going to have a idea of what you need to do in order to make it happen and to do it successfully. So love this for you all. Throw caution to the wind, but have a plan in the process. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 7. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 5 and the 6 for this illumination. And so relationships are definitely, at the forefront here because you have that vibration of the 6, and it's those deeper relationships like romantic partnerships, family, close friends, your tight-knit community. You could be meeting someone at this time who will fall into that category at some stage. That's very, very possible because you have the vibration of the 5, which brings in change and, this like energy of newness, right? So you could definitely be meeting somebody new at this time. But with this 5 energy, it brings in unconventionality. It brings in uniqueness, doing things differently, seeing things differently, shaking things up a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if the people that you meet now or, how you sort of connect with others is shaken up a little bit. And you're being asked to not be so rigid, not see things so black and white, sort of get out of that mindset of, I know what I want when it comes to another person and I won't sway away from that. Like the 5 energy is saying, break free from those chains that bind you and be open to whoever you meet at this time, because it's likely that they will be unconventional. They'll be different from who you would normally connect with or who you would normally maybe be attracted to or something like that. There's likely going to be something mysterious about this person, something unique, something different, something that really draws you in because, again, there's that mysterious element here. That's very, very possible. And what I would say here is think outside the box, be open, be adaptable, say yes, explore, be curious, because I think it can really open you up to connections that will potentially change your life in some way, shape, or form. That 5 energy brings in that element of change, of, again, shakeup, of disruption. So it's helping you to see relationships and love very differently than maybe how you have in the past. So again, that can come through different people who come into your life at this time, or people from the past who maybe you will see in a different light at this time. That's very, very possible as well. But definitely some shakeups when it comes to your relationships around this full moon is very possible. But again, it's opening you up to something greater, something, I don't want to say better, but something different. Something that will help you to see something even more about yourself that you haven't seen in the past. And it could just be like a quick romantic fling or something like that. That's very possible when we're talking about 5 energy. Things usually happen quickly. There's a lot of moving parts and it's not really like that staying power type of energy. So you might just have kind of a fling at this time. Or you might connect with someone who really just blows your mind, like really opens your mind wide up. It might not be someone who's going to be in your life long term, but it can be someone who just, again, brings in that clarity or that aha moment that you just didn't even know was on the spectrum. So very, very powerful energy here. I would say just be open and adaptable to whoever presents to you at this time. And if it comes to taking your relationship or relationships to the next level, this is such a great time to do that, but not like in a controlled way, like in a way where you're like, all right, let me be curious. Show me what you got, universe, right? Bring to me the people who will help to open my eyes to what I need to see at this time. Really beautiful energy here. And you could really notice a big shakeup when it comes to how you view love, how you give love, how you receive love, how you see love. Very, very possible at this time. So beautiful energy. Hope it's a great one. I think it'll be a wild ride, to be honest, for you 7s. So try to release your grip and just enjoy the ride. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 8. So you all are going to be working with a vibration of the 6 and the 7. And so relationships are definitely at the forefront for this full moon. And it's interesting because you have that vibration of the 7. So there's this opportunity to go much deeper within these connections. And so this could be a really sensitive period for you all, especially, again, being a full moon. It's also in Aries. So this is about taking action, asserting yourself, finding your confidence, that sort of thing. So it could be like finding your confidence to have those more meaningful conversations, again, to go deeper beyond the superficial layer. And because it's a 6 vibration, this is really looking at like partners, family, close friends, your close-knit community, people where you feel or typically feel safe with or have that deeper kind of soul connection with. And because that 7 energy is here, it's pushing you to ask the deeper questions, to break free from kind of just looking at things on the surface, right? And kind of getting caught up in the illusion of how things seem to be, but really going deeper and getting to the truth of what's going on. So there could be an opportunity to heal some connections at this time, especially connections that are very close to your heart. Again, by having those conversations or asking those bigger questions and not just taking things at face value. It's very easy to, especially for 8s, right? Like there's certain numbers in numerology where, and 4 is one of them, myself included, where we like to have control of the situation, right? And how things are playing out. And so for 8s, there can be this, especially when it comes to relationships, you want to kind of be kind of a little bit more in control of those relationships. And if they're kind of going south or things are not working out, or, it's easy to get caught up in the stories that we tell ourselves in order to fit the narrative that we've kind of created around it. And that doesn't allow us to see what's actually happening, or it doesn't allow us to see how the other person actually feels in that connection. And with the 7 energy, there's this opportunity for greater self-discovery, but also a greater understanding of the deeper dynamic, right, within that connection or those connections. Now, it's very possible because, the 7 energy does bring in like this very spiritual side of things, a very spiritual element. It's possible that you won't be able to have those very, deep conversations with the other person, right? Maybe there's an estranged parent or something like that, or there's just, it's not healthy, it's toxic, whatever. And so this is an opportunity for you energetically to do that work, to do the work that you need to do to find peace and balance within that connection, even if you don't get the apology, even if you don't get what you feel you need in order to have closure within that connection. And those kind of situations can be some of the most difficult. But there's a great opportunity for growth there, personal growth. And the 7 is always pushing us for that deeper growth, right? That going deeper and not just trusting the noise and not just believing the noise. Or again, not just believing the stories we've created in our mind to fit the narrative. So again, I feel like this could be a very sensitive period for you all. And you're just going to have to, find your inner strength and move through it. But it can open you up to so much greater healing within that connection and finding deeper understanding between both parties. And what each person needs, right? Having those conversations and not just going straight to like avoidance or, again, trusting the illusion. Very deep soul work here. with the other person, but also with yourself, especially when it comes to how you view love, how you show love, how you receive love. And again, how you show up to your connections and what you accept in your relationships and how others show up to you. A lot here. It's a quick transit, right? It's a full moon, so it's only a few days long, but where you're going to feel this strong energy. But I would say if the opportunity comes in for you at this time to do that work, to go deeper, to ask the questions, to be curious, yes, you're going to have to be vulnerable. Yes, you're going to have to possibly put yourself out there. And yes, you might have to be the one that initiates the conversation, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it, whether it heals that dynamic or it just allows you to set down the burden that you've been carrying around that connection. Very, very possible. Also, I will say really quickly, the 6 and the 7 together can absolutely bring in like deep, deep soul connections. So if you're single looking to mingle, this could be a time where you meet a soulmate. Very, very possible. Whether it's a partner, a friend, also a pet would fall into that category. Or like again, like maybe like a family member you've disconnected from could absolutely come back at this time. Very beautiful energy for that. So deep, deep soul kind of love here, like soul contract kind of connection. So beautiful energy. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 9. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 7 and the 8 for this illumination. So, with the 8 energy coming in, this kind of puts the focus on the material realm, right? We can be looking at money, finances, resources, career, power, status, influence, etc. And so I think there's probably going to be an emphasis there. So some of you could see an uptick in clients, becoming more popular. If you have a social media site, you could see more an uptick in your followers or something like that, or the engagement, that sort of thing. Very, very possible at this time. You could get a raise or get a promotion or something along those lines. For those of you who have some kind of loss at this time, because it is a full moon, just know that loss needs to occur to show you something that you need to see when it comes to your relationship to money, to success, to power, etc. There's something that you kind of need to move through in sort of a vulnerable way in order to see the bigger picture and kind of to be able to see what's needed in order to not move through that loss in the future. And it could be that it's moving you in some kind of different direction, right? Some kind of detour. Now, I will say, because the vibration of the 7 is here, when we move through a cycle with the 7 energy present, there's an opportunity to go deeper, to gain a greater understanding, to get to the truth of something, and to discover something deeper or more truthful about ourselves. So because it's coupled with the 8 energy, there's a possibility that you will have an opportunity to understand something greater when it comes to your career, how you share your gifts, how you share your message with the world, and what feels true for you, what feels authentic. How are you spending your time? If you're in a position of quote unquote power, how are you using that power? Does it feel true? Does it feel authentic? Does it feel good for you? How are you, if you're in a position of abundance and success, how are you sharing that abundance and that success? Anything with the 8 energy, it's not about what we can achieve and what we gain. It's what we do with that success, that abundance, that power, that status, in order to help to uplift, empower, inspire others. And this is a really powerful point for you all, because as 9s, such a big part of your journey is about the humanitarian. Your job in this lifetime, really, your purpose is to find ways to help to uplift, empower, inspire others through the work that you do, through your presence. And so having the 7 and the 8 come in a cycle, there's an opportunity to gain greater clarity with, again, what is your why? Why are you doing the work that you're doing? Who do you need to call in to help to support you in that work if needed, right? And what feels true, what feels authentic for you. And if you're not in a place where you're able to sort of step into that authenticity when it comes to your work, to your gifts, how you share those gifts, or how you share that abundance, then this is an opportunity to gain that clarity through asking the bigger questions. And you might have to ask yourself those bigger questions first, right? Like, What is it that you want to achieve, and what do you want to do with that success once you achieve it? And success is whatever that means for you. But a beautiful opportunity here for greater self-reflection, greater self-discovery when it comes to your work, your place in the world, your purpose, how you share your gifts. And if you're already doing that, then what are you doing with the success, the power, the influence, the status that comes with that? Opportunity to take a really big deep dive when it comes to your profession. And if you're someone who's not working, then this is an opportunity for you to take a deeper dive into what are you doing with your time and how are you contributing? How are you still sharing your gifts? It doesn't have to be for a monetary gain, but how are you sharing your gifts in a way that is, again, helping to uplift, empower, inspire others? So beautiful opportunity for greater reflection here, especially when it comes to the themes of the 8. So I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 11-2, you are going to be working with the vibrations of the 18-9 and the 19-1. So this 19-1 energy brings in regeneration, new opportunities, new beginnings, and it can kind of feel like a lot of new beginnings, like a lot of new fresh starts, or seeing things with fresh eyes, having a greater perspective, and then being able to take some kind of new steps because of that new perspective or clarity. But there's a lot here about not being complacent, about putting in the effort, showing up, taking the steps, taking action. And so again, you could see a lot kind of come in around this full moon that is giving you the opportunity to get started significantly and in some area of your life or many areas of your life. A lot of times with the 19-1 energy, there can be a lot of new beginnings, a lot of shifts, a lot of new starts. You could be starting a new job, having a new relationship, having an epiphany that brings in a new idea that you want to get started on. And there's a lot of 1 energy here, right? 19-1, double ones. And so there's a lot to initiate. You could probably feel very motivated at this time. You could probably feel very ambitious. And hopefully you'll find some confidence in that process as well to take the risk, to say yes, to, again, get started. Now, it's interesting because you also have the 18-9 energy here. And you do have 9 energy within the 19-1. So there's a lot of 9 energy that you're working with. And 9 can bring in like closing things out, finishing things up, completing things, endings as well. And again, it's a full moon. So that can usually bring in things coming to completion or being brought to fruition or closing out, right? But it's interesting because this full moon is also happening in Aries, which Aries is very much 1 energy. So for you all, you are really working with the vibration of this full moon to the fullest extent. There's a lot of things potentially closing out or being finished up, or things that, again, that you've stopped procrastinating on. You're seeing it through to completion. You're tying up the loose ends. You're getting it off your plate. You're finishing it up, right? And in that process, you might see the rewards, the recognition, the accolades from completing whatever that is. Maybe you're launching something. Maybe you've completed a project and you're putting it out into the world. And you'll likely see the recognition from that or the rewards or results of that. So there is this push to, again, stop procrastinating, get serious, see things, finish those things up, whatever they may be. But there's also, again, right on the heel of that, whatever things are closing out, there's a lot coming in, a lot of new starts, a lot of new beginnings. You might have to take new risks, take a leap of faith in some area. Or again, just fully commit to something and then get started. Take the first step. This could be a lot of, again, like new beginnings in relationships as well. Maybe you meet someone new. Maybe there's something new you learn about someone within your life. So again, lots of new beginnings, lots of fresh starts. Also on the heels of things closing out or you finishing things up. And there's also satisfaction in completion, right? Finishing up a project, getting it, out the door, sort of birthing it, so to speak. There's a lot of satisfaction that can come from that. And you might find that through that process, again, new beginnings come in because of that. So this is a very active period for you all, is what I'm trying to say. Also, the 18-9 can bring in like healing energy. Things, again, like healing where there might have been some discord or disarray, bringing things to completion in that sense, like a healed type of energy. So if there's like relationships you need to heal, or if there's belief systems or whatever it might be, this is an opportunity to do the work to heal and to release that burden, whatever that may be that you've been carrying. And again, once we heal something, we open the door for the next chapter to begin, which would be the 19-1 energy. So it's kind of this, again, figuring out what within your experience needs to be completed, where you've been procrastinating, where you need to get serious, where you need to tie up the loose ends, see it through to completion, and get it off your plate, and be open to the new experiences that want to come in for you. But again, none of it happens without you. A lot of one energy here that's saying, you're at the helm of the ship, you make the decisions, you have to take the action. You have to put in the effort. You have to commit to it and make it happen, so to speak. But overall, really beautiful energy around this full moon. And also the 19-1 is a love vibration. So again, could be, a love interest on the horizon for some of you that can be very, very healing as well. Beautiful energy, 11s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 22-4. So we're going to be working with the vibrations of the 29-11-2 and the 33, so 303. Let's start with the 29-11-2. So there's something here around this full moon that is really pushing us towards what inspires us, right? It's recognizing where it is that we invest our energy or our time or resources into things that don't complete us, that don't fulfill us, that leave us feeling drained, where we feel frustrated. And we're meant to start to move away from those things. We're meant to start to find solutions, which 4 energy is very solution focused, so very much in our wheelhouse. We're meant to start to find solutions for starting to move in a different direction so that we don't continue to show up to the things that don't feel good, don't feel aligned, that make us feel drained. And we're meant to move more in the direction of, again, what inspires us, what lifts us up, what makes us feel good, what makes us feel aligned. Where do we invest our time and energy into the things that bring us joy, that, again, uplift our spirit and put us back in spirit, right? Inspired. With the 33, this is creativity. This is creation. This is also communication. So it can be about the written spoken word. So this is beautiful for writing, speaking, again, getting your messaging out into the world in some profound way. It doesn't even have to be profound, just in a way that feels really good for you, that inspires you. Creativity is at the forefront here. You have the vibration of the 3 and the vibration of the 0. So it's like a clean slate kind of energy. A new perspective, a new way of looking at something where you are reminded that you are at the helm of your own ship and that what you are creating has a very strong influence on your experience. So again, where you invest your time, how you show up, how you express yourself, all has an input and it affects your experience. So you're meant to kind of look at all of this during this full moon and start to release, again, the things that do not serve you, that don't feel aligned, that don't feel good. Of course, in life, we always have things that we have to do, right? But that shouldn't consume the majority of our time. So you're really being asked to look at where it is that you are expressing yourself authentically. Where are you expressing yourself in a way that feels inauthentic? And what shifts can you make so that you can move more towards that line of authenticity? What you create and where how you express yourself and what you have to say and the way that you express that messaging should feel aligned, should feel good, should feel true for you, should feel like a part of you. And so this full moon for us is really having us look at what inspires us, what takes our inspiration away. What are we creating that feels good and true? And what are we creating or investing our time into that does not feel that way? Where does it feel like we're building somebody else's dream and we need to get back to building our own, right? Doesn't mean that we don't work together with others. Of course we can. We can work with others to help them to build their dream, but we can't neglect our own in the process. And so the 29-11-2 and the 33 coming together, it's all about creativity, creation, sharing your gift, sharing your wisdom. What is it that you want to be building? And how do you continue to put your resources towards that? What are you building? Again, are you building your dream, your vision, your goal, or are you building someone else's and neglecting your own? This energy is all trying to push you back to really that vibration of the 22-4, because that is the master builder energy. And yes, you might be building with others. You likely will be. It will be a collaborative effort, but you are not meant to neglect your vision, your ideas, your inspiration in the process. So this can be a very profound full moon for us, where it's helping us to get back on track, right? One thing with the 22-4s is it's a very can be very stubborn energy, but it's usually highly committal. And so, where does your loyalty lie? Does your loyalty lie in fulfilling your passions, your purpose, your dreams? Or are you committed and loyal to, again, building someone else's? And in that process, are you left feeling, dismayed, listless, frustrated, depressed, whatever? So really, really beautiful energy here. It's reminding us that, again, we are the magician. So we get to decide how we use our magic. And again, it sounds very trite, but there's power in this. There's empowerment here that we're meant to step into. And it all comes back to coming back to what inspires us, what lights us up, what feels aligned. Doesn't mean that we neglect the things, like our obligations that we might not want to do, right? We still got to wash the dishes and do the laundry. But where we spend the majority of our time should be done doing things that, again, feel fulfilling in some way or many ways. And this full moon is helping us to get there, or get back to there. Because again, remember, we're the master builders. What we build is meant to be full of wisdom and inspiration and integrity and collaboration, but it has to come from that heart center first. So beautiful full moon for us, truly. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 33.6, you're going to be working with the vibration of the 44, so 404, and the 41.5. Let's break this down, because you have a lot of 4 energy that you're working with here, like basically 3 4s. And so this could feel like things kind of come to a halt, things slow down, things take a lot more effort, things take or need your attention a lot more. You're kind of being pulled back a little bit so that you can kind of zero in on the finer details of the situation. So if you've been kind of too immersed in it, or you've been just kind of overly focused on the bigger picture or the destination, this energy is slowing you down so that you can pay attention to the steps, to the finer details, so that you can make sure that you're doing things in a methodical way. You are investing your energy in a way that is helping you to build something sustainable, as opposed to just rushing through the process to get to the destination or the goal. All of this 4 energy is saying there's something you have to commit to. There's something you have to dedicate your time, your energy, your resources into in a very methodical, organized, structured way. You're not meant to rush through it, whatever it may be. And it will likely take time to see the results of all of this effort that you're being asked to put forth. The other thing with all this 4 energy, it's saying this is kind of checkpoint energy. So you could see a lot of challenges kind of come up around this full moon. You could see some tests, some lessons to be learned. And none of that is punitive. It's just, again, slowing you down enough to really take a closer look at the situation to make sure that what you're continuing to build upon is what you want, and that you're doing it in a way, again, that is sustainable. So this is kind of like that energy of like meeting someone and then rushing straight to the altar. All of this 4 energy is saying, okay, great, we met this person. Now let's take the time to do our due diligence, to get to know the person, to get to fully understand, who and what we're committing to. And so again, this energy is asking you to get focused, get serious, get dedicated to something or many things. So if there's things that you've been procrastinating on, or you felt overly frustrated with certain areas of your life, this is the opportunity around this full moon to, again, zero in on those areas, go deeper, get committed to finding the solution. 4 energy is very solution focused. Now, it's interesting also because you have the vibration of the 0 here, 44. And so that 0 energy is a fresh start, a clean slate, a new opportunity to do things maybe differently, but to do them in a way that feels true for you. You are the magician here. You are the artist. You get to decide what you are creating. This 0 energy is that space of deciding, right? You got a clean slate. So what do you want to build? What do you want to create? And so you're going to have an opportunity to decide that, what it is that you want to commit to, what it is that you want to focus your energy on during this time. But it's up to you. You get to decide. Then you have the vibration of the 1. This is about taking action. This is not an idle energy. This is about putting in the effort, committing to something and then taking the action. It's one thing to commit to it, but it's another to take the steps to move you in that direction. And so with this 1 energy, it's saying it's time to go. It's time to take action, to take the first step, to represent yourself, to express yourself, to find your courage, to take the risk, to, move in the direction that you want to be moving towards, but not in a fast way. Because again, you have all this 4 energy. Nothing will be handed to you. Nothing will be easily won. It's things you're going to have to build and create and pursue in a timely fashion, if that makes sense, in a methodical, organized fashion with a strategy and a plan. But it's based on your vision and what you want to create, what you want to build. And so really, really powerful energy here. And all this 4 energy says it's foundational, right? Your foundation is being looked at, where your sense of security is, where, your sense of structure is, where where you need to be more organized perhaps, or where you need to release some control and, put your focus and energy on the things that are working, not be overly focused on the things that didn't work or are not working, right? Because that can just lead to frustration. And then you have the powerful energy of the 5, which says, let's break free. Let's go big. Let's take the risk. Let's think unconventionally. Let's do things much differently, but in a bigger way. This is about growth and evolution and doing things maybe you haven't done before, getting outside of your comfort zone, taking a new risk. But again, thinking outside the box, not being overly controlling, but seeing how things flow and then deciding how to work with them. 5 energy brings the shakeup, brings changes. So there's potentially some changes on the horizon for you, but it's going to be something you're building, like you are building towards your future type of thing. But the 5 says, think big, right? Don't think too small here. So lots of big energy here for you all 33/6s. What do you want to build with it? Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 44/8. So you all are working with the vibration of the 51/6 and the 52/7. Interesting energies here. So the 51/6, this is really asking you to become very, very present in your situation. And I would say very, very present within your relationships. So, like your partners, your friends, family that are close to your heart, your close-knit community. There's something here that you might not be seeing because you're thinking about the past or you're too worried about the future and you're not in the present moment. And this 51/6 at this full moon is trying to bring you right back to the present because that's where obviously life is happening. That's where you're going to get the clearest picture for what is happening. And you can kind of break free from or break through the illusion. And usually that's going to come through conversation, right? And so I would say definitely be mindful of getting too caught up in the stories in your mind as far as like the stories we create around the narrative, around a relationship, and have the conversation because there's more to it than meets the eye. And there's things you can only work through that conversation or through, again, getting to the truth of the situation, which can't be done alone. It's interesting too, because the 51/6 kind of brings in this opportunity for disagreements to happen, for us to see sort of who is working against us, like truly working against us. It's kind of that energy that says, seek out your cheerleaders and don't listen to the rest. Maybe listen to the feedback, but pay attention to what you take to heart because this energy can show you, again, like who's kind of like in competition with you, who's in opposition of you, who's working against you, who does not want to see you succeed. But then it's going to be up to you what you choose to do with that information. So you can continue to engage or try to convince the person that you're worthy or blah, blah, blah. Or you can start to kind of make different decisions that move you away from that environment until it becomes healthier. So yeah, I would just say pay attention. Pay attention to who comes into your periphery around this full moon. And it might be that there's some connections or some relationships that come to an end at this time. But just know that if they come to an end at this time, and it can be done in a very healthy way, it doesn't have to be done with like blocking or, disavowing that person. It can be done in a way that is healthy and productive, right? But I do think you're going to probably get a good idea of who your rivals are. And you get to decide how you choose to engage with that. This is a powerful energy that will show you what's true and what's not true, right? But you have to be open to seeing that because, again, a lot of times when we get stuck in the storylines that we tell ourselves or our own personal narrative around the environment or the situation, we can kind of create that false truth. And so this is a call, again, to be very present and to observe and to ask the questions, right? And to have the conversation when you can, because it's going to help you to see sort of who's on your side and who isn't. And I think that's going to, that can have a big impact when it comes to your relationships, to your, your work life, all these things. I would say try to maintain as much of an impartial attitude as you can and try to weigh all the cases fairly, right? Again, don't jump too quickly to conclusions or to sort of validate the narrative that you've created around the situation. Do your due diligence to figure out what is the truth of the situation. And you can only really do that in the present moment. So if you're stuck in the past and what happened and blaming or victimizing or whatever, you're going to miss the true scenario. You're going to miss the truth of that situation. So yeah, very interesting energy here. And because you also have the 7 of the 52-7, this is about going deeper. This is about truly going deeper. Again, asking the questions, being curious, getting to the soul of the situation, getting to the truth of it, and trusting self, trusting others, trusting the universe in the process. Also, I would say, try to keep a positive outlook, a cheerful, frame of mind. And you can do all that while also being vigilant. Because the power of the mind, if you start to see who is against you, that can obviously affect your mentality about like how you feel about the situation. And I would say try to keep a positive outlook. It's not about toxic positivity. It's about how you choose to view the situation. And that will, of course, determine the experience that you have. So yeah, I would say this is just a weird energy, this full moon for you all. Just listen. Stop, look, and listen. Let's put it that way. Observe. And just be very careful in jumping to conclusions, but follow your intuition, follow that gut feeling, see where it takes you, see what it's trying to show you. It's also interesting, too, because the 52-7 kind of says there's a need for solitude. There's a need for coming back to self, doing some self-discovery, getting back in touch with self, kind of drowning out the external noise. So you're just going to have to kind of gauge it and see, where do you feel like you need deeper connections? And in order to gain those deeper connections, you're going to have those conversations in order to get to the truth of those connections. Or it might be that, I need to kind of back off a little bit and just have some solitude and embrace that need for that separation for a little bit while you kind of go a little bit deeper in your own psyche, in your own experience. What I would say, though, is just be careful about going into like hermit mode or seclusion or becoming too cynical or feeling too isolated. Just a very interesting energy for you all. But, it's a full moon and it's in Aries, and Aries is very much about action and taking, making a decision and taking action in that direction. Full moon is about closure, things ending, but also things coming to light. So yeah, I just think that you'll get probably a lot of information around this full moon. And then it's up to you what you choose to do with it. But I would say just take your time. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't be too hasty. And you'll get the information that you need. It might not be the information that you want to hear, though, or want to see. So just be open to what presents to you at this time. And then if you need time to kind of let it marinate, right? Take that time for solitude. Give yourself that time to sort of self-soothe and, recover, so to speak. But just remember that any separation during this cycle is part of that sort of rhythm of life, right? That it brings the changes, it brings the new opportunities through the challenges. So big energy here, 44/8s. Could bring a lot of things to light. So anyway, I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.